Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 29th of July. Infant killed in ceasefire violation by Pakistan in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Blast targeting Afghan Vice Presidential candidate kills at least 20. And Hindus in India throng temples on auspicious Monday of the holy month. Now for all the details, a 2-week-old infant has become the latest victim of a ceasefire violation by Pakistan. 3 civilians, including a woman and a child, were injured on Sunday as Pakistani troops violated ceasefire along the border in India's Jammu and Kashmir. The infant succumbed to abdominal injuries early on Monday.
An infant injured in heavy shelling by Pakistani troops along the border died at a hospital on Monday in Poonch district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province. The 10-day-old baby was among 3 civilians injured on Sunday in Pakistani firing in Shahpur and Sojian sector of Poonch district. Among them, a 45-year-old injured man suffered a shattered knee bone due to the firing. The infant had suffered extreme abdominal injuries and was brought to hospital in a critical condition. Meanwhile, Pakistani troops continued to target forward posts and villages in Shahpur sector in Poonch district on Monday. Indian Army was also retaliating, officials said. On July 22nd, an Indian soldier was killed in Pakistani firing in Rajouri district of Jammu and Kashmir, while a civilian was injured in another incident of ceasefire violation in Poonch sector on July 20th.
On the International Tiger Day, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the All India Tiger Estimation Report 2018. India, with around 3,000 tigers, is one of the safest habitats for tigers in the world, PM Modi said on the occasion.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the results of 4th cycle of the All India Tiger Estimation in capital New Delhi on Monday on the occasion of the International Tiger Day. According to the latest tiger census report, India with around 3,000 tigers is one of the safest habitats for them in the world. The count of tigers in India has risen to 2,967 in 2018. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister described this as a historic achievement for India and reaffirmed India's commitment towards protecting the tiger.
India is committed to doing whatever it can to further animal protection and conservation. I would express, and personally I would request, heads of government of the tiger range countries and bring them together in an alliance of global leaders to erase, demand, and to firmly curb poaching and illegal trade in Asia.
Prime Minister Modi said that India will build more homes for its citizens and at the same time create quality habitats for animals. International Tiger Day is celebrated on July 29 annually to promote the protection of natural habitat of tigers and to increase awareness about the conservation of tiger.
Moving on, a protest was held recently in Gilgit-Baltistan against inaction by the authorities to find 4 missing persons who were allegedly kidnapped by terrorists in the illegally occupied region.
A protest was held recently in Gilgit-Baltistan against inaction by the authorities to find 4 missing persons who were allegedly kidnapped in the illegally occupied region. The protesters, including locals and the relatives of the missing persons, raised slogans outside a Gilgit press club demanding the authorities to take action and get them released. They alleged that the 4 persons were abducted by a group of terrorists.
तकरीबन 30 के करीब वो मुसल्लह अफराद थे, उन्होंने हमारा छोटे बच्चों को, स्टूडेंट को उठा के ले गया है। 3 उनसे बच निकलने में कामयाब हो गए, वो वापस गांव में आके इतला दिया है। आज कोई 48 घंटे गुजरने के बावजूद गिलगित बल्तिस्तान की इंतजामिया ने कोई खातिर खा इक़दाम नहीं किए हैं। मैं जीबी गवर्नमेंट से ये रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि फौरी तौर पर मेरे भाइयों को, रिश्तेदारों को फौरी तौर पर उनको बाजियाब कराया जाए
और न करने की सूरत में हम फंडर से लेकर चिलास तक गिलगित बल्तिस्तान का जो अहाता है, इन सब को मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि इस मुश्किल की गाड़ी में मेरा साथ दे दीजिए वो सब।
The protesters raised doubts over the security situation in the illegally occupied region and demanded action against the police officials. Activists have long blamed the Pakistani state sponsors terror groups to spread fear among the masses in its illegally occupied territories.
In news from Afghanistan, the upcoming presidential election in Afghanistan is slated to be held on September 28th. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani launched his re-election campaign on Sunday and vowed to complete the uncompleted chapters and said rule of law will be his key plan if he succeeds.
Afghan President Ashraf Ghani launched his re-election campaign on Sunday for the upcoming presidential election in September. Addressing his supporters at a gathering in capital Kabul, he said that only the Afghan government has the authority to negotiate with the Taliban and reach an agreement with the group. Ghani vowed to complete the uncompleted chapters and said economic independence and the rule of law will be his key plans if he succeeds. This is the third time that Ghani is running for president. In 2014 presidential election, he was the leading candidate and he decided to join the chief executive Abdullah in the National Unity Government. The upcoming presidential election in Afghanistan is slated for September 20th. This will be the fourth time to be held in the conflict-battered country since the collapse of Taliban regime in late 2001.
More news from Afghanistan. Death toll rose to at least 20 on Monday in an attack on a vice presidential candidate's office in Kabul on Sunday. Amrullah Saleh, the vice presidential candidate and close aide of incumbent President Ashraf Ghani, was also injured in the attack.
At least 20 people were killed and 50 injured in Afghan capital Kabul on Sunday in a suicide bombing and gun battle at vice presidential candidate Amrullah Saleh's office, the government said in a statement on Monday. Amrullah Saleh, a running mate of Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, was also injured in the attack. Afghan forces killed 3 militants who entered Saleh's 4-story office after a suicide bomber blew himself up during rush hour, said the Interior Ministry. More than 150 civilians were rescued during the 6-hour-long operation, said Interior Ministry spokesperson Nusrat Rahimi.
من میشتگی بودم که یک واده گویا گرنبس کرد دیگه داخل دود پر شده مر قلاج کرد بیرون قلاج کرد دیگه زدم خودم فهمیدم که مفتیدم همونجا زدم خود داخل حمام زدم خود که دیگه انفجار شد صدای گریان غول مغول چیز آمد.
The attack came only hours after Ghani and Saleh, along with more than a dozen Afghan politicians, launched their 2-month-long election campaign. Presidential polls are expected to be held on September 28, but the security situation has been deteriorating across the country with frequent attacks by the Taliban and Islamic State fighters.
Rohingya refugees in Myanmar officials met over the weekend in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh for repatriation talks. During the talks, the Rohingya leaders said they wanted Myanmar to recognize them as an ethnic group with the right to citizenship before the return to Myanmar.
Rohingya refugees and Myanmar officials met on Sunday in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh for a second day of repatriation talks. The Myanmar delegation led by Foreign Secretary Mintu held talks with 35 Rohingya leaders amid tightened security in the camps. During the talks, the Rohingya leaders said they wanted Myanmar to recognize them as an ethnic group with the right to citizenship before they return to Myanmar. One of the Rohingya leaders who joined the talks said that Myanmar officials were told in the meeting they won't return unless they were recognized as Rohingya. This is the second time in less than a year that Myanmar officials have tried to convince Rohingya refugees to return to violence-hit Rakhine province. In October, a repatriation offer was rejected by Rohingya leaders.
At least those who live in Myanmar for 3 generations, they are entitled to apply for what we call naturalized citizenship. Once parents apply for the natural citizenship, their sons and daughters, their offspring are entitled to apply for the citizenship. So we are trying to explain to them what are the possibility of citizenship.
Some 740,000 Rohingya fled a 2017 crackdown by Myanmar's military in response to insurgent attacks. They now live in squalid camps in Bangladesh. Though UN investigators have said Myanmar's operation included mass killings and arson, Myanmar denies the charge.
7 Indian fishermen were apprehended and their fishing boat was seized by the Sri Lankan Navy on Sunday for allegedly fishing in its waters. Fishermen from both the countries frequently stray into each other's territory and then end up spending years in jails.
Sri Lankan Navy on Sunday arrested 7 Indian fishermen and seized their boat for allegedly fishing in its territorial waters. The Sri Lankan Navy confirmed the arrest in a statement published on its official website. The statement said that the fishermen were to be handed over to the Assistant Director of Fisheries in the country's Mannar district for further investigation after a medical examination. Fishermen from both countries frequently stray into each other's territory and end up spending years in jails.
7 மீனவர்கள் இன்னைக்கு மீன்பிடிக்க போனாங்க. போன இடத்துல இலங்கை கடற்படை கைது செய்து அவங்கள மன்னார் கடற்படை முகாமில் வச்சு விசாரிச்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இது தொடர்ந்து இது போன்ற நடவடிக்கைகள் மீனவர்களை பிடிப்பது, மீனவர்களை தாக்குவது, படகுகளை பறிமுதல் செய்வது, சிறைப்படுத்துவது இது போன்ற கொடுமைகள் தமிழக மீனவர்களுக்கு தொடர்ச்சியாக நடந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு.
India shares an expansive oceanic border with Sri Lanka without any perceptible demarcation, and fishermen on both sides ignore rules while netting their catch. Sri Lanka has long fumed over poaching and illegal fishing by Indian fishermen that it says depletes the catches of its own fishermen.
Hindu devotees across India took holy dips before thronging temples on the auspicious second Monday of the ongoing holy month of Shravan. Devotees seek the blessings of Lord Shiva for peace and prosperity of their families by taking holy baths and offering prayers during the monsoon month.
Scores of Hindus throng temples across India to offer prayers on the auspicious second Monday of the Hindu holy month of Shravan or monsoon. Devotees in India's temple town Haridwar took holy dips in river Ganges before thronging temples and worshipping Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, and Shivaling, his phallus representation. Shravan, a month dedicated to Lord Shiva, is considered auspicious on its own, but Mondays hold special significance.
आज सावन का दूसरा सोमवार है और यहाँ पर भगवान महादेव शिव की ससुराल है और जो भी यहाँ आता है सोमवार के दिन उसकी मनोकामना पूर्ण होती है.
Meanwhile, large queues were seen outside temples in the country's spiritual capital of Varanasi, where devotees waited for their turn to enter temples and perform special prayers on the occasion. According to Hindu belief, Monday is considered to be the day of moon, which is worn by Shiva on his head as an accessory.
आज महाशिवरात्रि का जैसे पर्व होता है, ऐसे तेरस का पर्व है प्लस प्रदोष है, जो कि महिलाएं व्रत रखती हैं सावन के महीने में, और सोमवार मंडे जिसको बोलते हैं 16 सोमवार के व्रत जो रखते हैं बच्चों के लिए अपना, ये पर्व सबसे बड़ा महत्व इसी का आज है.
Every year, more than 5 million devotees from different parts of the country visit temples over 30 days to pay obeisance to Lord Shiva during the auspicious month of Shravan. During the monsoon festival, Shiva devotees also fast till dusk, eating only root vegetables and fruits.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Infant killed in ceasefire violation by Pakistan in India's Jammu and Kashmir. Blast targeting Afghan Vice Presidential candidate kills at least 20. And Hindus in India throng temples on auspicious Monday of the holy month. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.